Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. This is Ardalan Mishani. I'm a data scientist at Novartis. And today I'm going to talk about an opinionated framework about democratizing Shiny app development. This is an ecosystem that we call DataPipeline Harmonized Framework. So this is a joint work with different people in the company. I want to just say thanks to all of them for their supports. So in recent years, there is a rapid rise in clinical data exploration. And that makes increasing need to use the interactive graphical displays. Especially in pharma industry, it seems with the shift from SaaS to R, building Shiny apps are getting a lot of traction. But when you are working in a company and you're dealing with different groups and teams, so there are couple of there are different challenges for creating professional Shiny apps. One of them is about the time and knowledge. So it's true that you should learn about and you should just follow the best practices for creating professional apps, but you also need to learn many things outside of the Shiny. Just know about the accessibility, data repository, development and deployment environment, infrastructures, accessible tools, many things like this. Another challenge is about the maintainability. So usually teams started developing apps inconsistently, and so many of them are not following the best practices. That's why in the future it's getting hard to debug and maintain. And last but not the least is about the reusability. So in clinical studies, similarities across domain and endpoints shows a big demand on the reusable tools. But when people work on the app internally, many times they don't have enough time. They create a project-specific code with a project with hard-coded format, and it doesn't come with a good amount of documentation, and that makes almost impossible to reuse in the future. And our goal was that we wanted to scale the creation and using of professional Shiny apps across the portfolio. We wanted to have a professional look and feel, high quality codes, ability to generalize it in the future, extensible with new features, and upgradable with latest, greatest version of the code. And we really wanted to be able to reuse the tools from one study to another. And also at the end, we wanted to decrease the development time. We wanted to automate this process. And at the end, we came up to the framework, a solution that we call the DataPipeline Harmonized Framework. That is a modularized ecosystem that standardized development and deployment of the Shiny apps in the company. So it enables the teams to use best practices template, which is compliant with company infrastructure. It empowers the community to just focus to develop their own tools and easily share with others. And also, it automates the repetitive tasks that arise during project setup and development. So this is our architecture. If you have the same concern for scaling the using of the Shiny apps in your company, so I would like to just go through the elements quickly that maybe you can get some idea about our design. And as you can see in our framework, so we have 4 key players. So there are our packages internally developed by us, and they just handle some of the category of our challenges. So the first one is a package, we call it Ava2. So it's a modern toolkit compliant with the company brand lab, and it's a just professional user interface templates for Shiny app. It is in charge for handling authentication and authorization, and also keep track of the user experience. So the second app, we call it DataPipeline. Majority of the app that we create needs to get a connection with company data repository, load it and explore it. So because of that, we build a framework to standardize this data preparation process that easily we can load the data, configure the data, and make it ready for the app. The third package is called Create-R. So Create-R is a workflow R package. If you are familiar with use this package developed by Hadley, it follows the same philosophy. So it tries to automate the repetitive tasks that arise, for example, in Shiny app setup, when people want to add more module, when they wanted to automatically deploy on the server, and also keep the app upgradable in the future. And the nice thing is that the people who wants to use Create-R to using the Shiny app, so they don't need to have any knowledge about Shiny. And the last thing is that Create-R is quite chatty. Just explain in the console step by step what is happening into your project, and you can keep track of the changes. And the last player is module template. It's obviously like a template. It's a best practice template that is compliant with all of our infrastructure that we need. And we were motivated by Golem, but we created we followed the R package format, but came up to our own like a structure that we wanted. And it's compliant with the data pipeline and Ava2. And it's just by default comes up with data pipeline to get in connection with data repository and Ava2 for user interface. So I want to just show you a demo of how it works about our workflow. So in the first step, usually we want to start our project with a setup, which is about like having a bare bone template of all the best practices. So people just need to load create R and just load one line of code. As you can see, so when people load this function, so a mini Shiny app pops up that asks some question. Usually people start with the first one that we want to start a new project. They say that a working directory, and then they can choose a name for their app. And then everything is just happening by data pipeline. So it goes and bring in the template, create the project for them, and customize it based on the name that they selected. So this is the version of the skeleton app that they have. We call it the module template. So as you can see, it comes with the customized user interface. It includes a wiki template for the module or app documentation. And it has also all the data pipeline infrastructure for getting connection to company data repository. And here is a place that our developer start with that. So they have all the templates set up for them, and they can just focus on creating the modules. And over the last 5 months, our community could just use this template and build more than 30 modules, follow this template. And right now we have like a module gallery. And all the things that you see at the moment is that how we can build sort of an like a standalone module. But I think the whole beauty of this framework and what makes it more powerful is that how people can automatically create an app by just putting together this module, by connecting them together. And you can imagine that we have a developers that develop reusable tools, and we have other people can just look at the gallery of the module and select what they want, and just like a Lego, they can create an app quickly. Okay. So, and if you're wondering about the module components that if we want to connect them together, what are the required information? Here are the five sections that we need to pay attention in each module. So every single module comes with a config file. It includes the metadata, sort of the module name, description, maintainer name, something like that. It also includes the information about the clinical domain dependency, that what domains are required for this module, and from each domain, what variables are required. And also we use Ren for handling the package dependency, getting the idea that what package and what version are used the time for building this module. So another thing is that we get access to the R scripts, so the module codes. The thing is that we don't create a closed source app. We provide an open source app, so we created all the codes and the structure into working directories, and people can just modify it if whatever they want in the future. And for sure, we bring in all the documentation, vignettes, and simulated data if it's needed. So this is the second part of the framework that I'm going to show you. That imagine right now we have the bare bone template. Right now, people want to create the app. So again, the idea is the same. They'll load the data, they'll create R, load one line of function, and so they go to importing available modules. As you can see here, so we have a list of 30 modules here. Every module comes with a name and description. People can explore and search based on what they want and selected the modules that they need. For example, in this demo, I chose just 3 modules. And then when you click done, you can see many things happening in the console. So the idea is that create R goes to each module projects and bring in the required files and folders, and also automatically modify the UI and server part of the app to connect this module together and make the app run. So for having a quick tour on the app, so as you can see right now, we have 3 new tabs for each single module. We usually, by bringing each module, we also bring the documentation for each module whenever you add one. So you will see that the documentation is added here that users can go through and understand about the how to use the module. And if you're wondering about how it looks like, it's just one screenshot of one of the modules. And the last slide is about the impact and summary. So with this framework right now, our teams can create a professional app in a couple of seconds. So it's provided with guided tools and documentation, and they can extend the app and customize it based on what they want. And I think again, the beauty of this framework is that we leverage a community-based framework that developers create reusable modules and others can easily use it. And when we released the framework, so people saw that, okay, app creation does not need that much knowledge on Shiny. So, and many groups became interested to have an app for their own study. And over the last 5 months, so we tracked that more than 330 times this framework was used for creating the app. And at the end, I can say that by having this this framework for scaling the app creation, we envision supporting to have an exploratory Shiny app for every single clinical study in a company. Thank you so much.